Hello and welcome to another Roland FA-06 video. The problem with changing the studio sets and tones remotely from another keyboard is how do we get the numbers we want to come down the MIDI line into our Roland FA-06. Every single keyboard transmits its own bank select and program change numbers, and there is no standardization. So if I pressed, for example, Deja Vu lead on this particular keyboard that this book refers to, I will get the transmission of 87, 0 and 12. And that may not be the tone that I want on my Roland FA-06. So how am I going to assign my buttons to be able to call my favorite voices or studio sets on the Roland FA-06 when whatever MIDI keyboard I have plugged into it may have different bank select information? Well, the only way you're going to get total configurability is to have a MIDI keyboard controller that allows you to assign your bank select, both the MSB and LSB byte, as well as the program change number, can be anything you want on any of the buttons on your MIDI controller. And the reason this is so is because the MIDI controller is like a blank slate. You can program it however you want, and its only function is to send the MIDI information that you specifically want to use to your Roland FA-06 to select that desired tone. So we're going to use our favorite MIDI keyboard controller, the Roland A800 Pro. So first we have to select a button, and there are quite a few to choose from. We can use one of those, or we can use one of these black buttons, or we can even use the white buttons here. Any button is game for our programming on the Roland A800 Pro MIDI controller. But first we have to program the button to activate the actual voice in the Roland FA-06. The sound list documentation PDF for the FA-06, 07 and 08 is downloadable from the Roland website, and we first find our tone in here, and this is where we will find the MSB, LSB of our bank select and our program change number. There are loads of tones to choose from, but we're going to go with Polysynth 24, which has an MSB of 95, an LSB of 66, and a PC number of 122. The next step is to load the map you wish to change by selecting its number there where it says like Control Map 4 and press receive, and the map will be inside your editor. Then you pick the button you want to edit by simply clicking on it. Then you select the assign message as channel message and the type as bank select plus program change. Then you can select your MIDI channel that you want it to be on, and then finally you enter your bank LSB, MSB and PC numbers below. There we have it set for our sound, so we click OK. Let's set button B2 to another sound in some other bank on the Roland FA-06. How about Agent X? This is a synth lead tone number 738 in the category of the PCM tones, and its information is 87, 69 and 98. So there we have it set up for button B2, and now all we do is click on OK and we're good to go. Now we have to get those programming for those two buttons down into our MIDI controller keyboard, and the way to do that now is to transmit it by clicking the transmit key, but we also have to set the control map number, otherwise we could overwrite a precious map within the actual keyboard. Make sure map 9 is selected. That's where our FA-06 experiment resides, in the memory of the A800 Pro, and then click transmit. You ask if to overwrite, you say OK. Now we simply hook our A800 Pro to our Roland FA-06. We hook the MIDI output of the A800 Pro to the MIDI in of your Roland FA-06, and then when you press the buttons B2 and B3 on your Roland A800 Pro, let's get it so you can see. Notice we have gone to Agent X for B2 and Polysynth 24 for B3, and we can play it from either keyboard. So that is the Polysynth, and if you want to hear the Agent X, we switch it to the Agent X. So now you should be enjoying both your MIDI controller and your Roland FA-06. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.